Hola, mi gente. This is Roberto Ruiz, a.k.a. Don Sicario. And if you have a few minutes of your busy day, I would like for you guys to come spend some time and vibe with me real quick as we discuss the Yankees offseason thus far. Now, it hasn't been a lot of moves so far, but Hal Steinbrenner, owner of the Yankees, has made two significant moves so far to better this team. The first move, obviously, was bringing back Aaron Judge for 9 years, $360 million. Not only did they bring him back, Hal Steinbrenner became his father for a bit, put his nuts on the table. My guy was in fucking Italy and made the deal happen. He called Aaron Judge, what do we need to do to make this happen? He threw Aaron Judge the last year, boom, 9 years, $360 million, boom, let's go. But then he said they weren't done. Little Stein, he wants to be Big Stein. He wants to be like daddy. He came in and brought in the other ace, a lefty arm, Carlos Rodon. I mean, this guy's a bully on the mound. If you guys have not seen Carlos Rodon pitch, go on YouTube, do a little research, watch some highlights. He's nasty. And he has fucking attitude, what this team needs. A real edge. So Hal Steinbrenner pushed Brian Cashman to the side when it came to negotiations with Aaron Judge. That's big, if you ask me. And to my surprise, well, I'm not surprised, another superstar from New York that doesn't like Brian Cashman. Is it me or nobody likes Brian Cashman except for the fucking nerds? Hal Steinbrenner put Brian Cashman to the side when it came to the negotiations with Aaron Judge. Because if it was up to Brian Cashman, Aaron Judge wouldn't be in pinstripes right now. He'd be in San Francisco somewhere. Because Brian Cashman loves to bargain bin, right? He has to have the upper hand on every move he makes. So I'm actually proud of Hal Steinbrenner for taking over that move and bringing the captain back home. So alongside with bringing in Carlos Rodon and keeping Aaron Judge, there's a lot of talk right now about our outfield. We need a left fielder. And so far, everybody's connecting Brian Reynolds from the Pittsburgh Pirates to the New York Yankees. If you guys never seen Brian Reynolds play, again, go on YouTube, watch some highlights. He's a great player, great athlete. The word is that the Pirates are looking for some arms. And let's say, for example, it would be a Jason Dominguez, the Martian. Jason Dominguez is what we hope he becomes a Brian Reynolds. We wish that when Jason Dominguez makes it to the big leagues and gets some time under his glove, and his bat, he becomes a Brian Reynolds. So the question is, what do we do? Do we trade him for Brian Reynolds? Because at the end of the day, we're not, Dominguez is just that, a prospect. We're not sure what he's going to be. So there's a lot of chatter on Twitter. A lot of the fans, Yankee fans, we're not the easiest, right? We're not the easiest to get along with. But we know what the fuck we're talking about. A lot of fans are willing to give up Jason Dominguez for Brian Reynolds. And if that's the case, if it just takes Jason Dominguez and another arm or something like that, I say we do it. Because if Brian Reynolds is exactly what we want Jason Dominguez to be, and he's a sure thing, he's an elite bat right now. He bats from both sides. He's a switch hitter. We need that. We need some bats because come playoffs, the bats always die off. The arms somehow keep the Yankees in the game. They keep them in there, and it's the bats that fucking disappear when it most matters. Our hottest bat against the Astros this past postseason was Harrison Bader. Lord Bader. I fucking love Bader. Everybody loves Bader. Kid from the Bronx. You know, Mr. Mima Mierda. Todo, however he said it in Spanish. Like, everybody loves Bader. But Bader only has like, what, one more year left? If you bring in a Brian Reynolds, Harrison Bader's a Gold Glover at center field. You could easily move Reynolds to left field and keep Bader at center, Judge at right. Shit. That's a great outfield if you ask me. You know, our rotation is set right now. I believe that Montas is going to have a comeback season. He was hurt. He had some issues with a death in the family. He just wasn't all there. If you have a healthy Montas as your fifth starter, I mean, shit. I'm so proud of Hal. Hal Steinbrenner, I'm proud of him that he did his part. He spends the money. Like, they're always talking about how cheap Hal. No, Hal always spends the money. It all matters of how Brian Cashman spends the money. If you want to be mad at Hal Steinbrenner for letting Brian Cashman make all of these moves all these past few years that haven't panned out, cool, I get that. But don't be upset with him for not spending. You know, maybe he could be more involved, paying closer attention to what's happening. Because I'm sure they're probably just showing him a bunch of numbers. And they're like, well, this is what we're doing. He's probably like, okay, cool, I gotta go. Right now, Brian Cashman has to show out. I hope his fucking little ego was hurt with the media putting all their attention to Hal Steinbrenner. You know, becoming the Mariano Rivera of closing out the negotiations with Aaron Judge. Coño. Can you fucking imagine that? The Mariano Rivera of closing out the deal with the captain. Cashman's got to be on the sideline pissed, like, because he's such a fucking ego head, right? Like, I hope his little ego was hurt. And he busts out a dope-ass trade. Because he can pull out some good trades. But then again, sometimes he does shit like trading Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez to the Minnesota Twins for fucking Josh Donaldson and IKF and that catcher that I cannot pronounce his last fucking name. Ben Rotvert, something like that. You know, Josh Donaldson's washed, and I still play in my head when Cashman says something about Gio Urshela that he's no Josh Donaldson. My guy, Gio Urshela, one of the nicest person. Like, you will see one of the nicest dudes probably in the clubhouse. At the end of the season when we were eliminated, he tweeted the fucking coffee cup. For Gio Urshela to do that shit, you gotta be a piece of shit. And Brian Cashman seems like a piece of shit. But, you know, it is what it is. We that's all we have. You know, as Yankee fans, we have to just accept what's coming. We could complain because the fans booed the fuck out of Hal Steinbrenner twice on Paul O'Neill Day and on Derek Jeter Day. And from what we're told, he did not like it. Good. I hope you didn't like that shit. Start busting out some better moves. Start paying more attention to the clubhouse. Pay attention to what the fans are saying, what they're screaming out on social media. The same way Steve Cohen is. He's paying attention. I mean, he's making some reckless moves. The Yankees, we've been through that shit already. We've thrown out monster contracts. Yeah, it's cool and all, but they don't tend to work out all the time. So right now, at this point, we're waiting for the Pirates to lower their asking price for Brian Reynolds because he has 3 years of control. Word is, quote unquote, they want a Soto type package for him. I don't know if they're gonna get it. He's not Soto. And with a lot of the pieces coming off the board, it seems like the Yankees are Brian Reynolds or bust. I'm cool with that. Just, you know, Brian Cashman loves to gamble. Just make sure you pull it off. At the end, make sure you pull it off because we're going to wait till everybody's off the board and then there's not going to be anything left. And word for a bit, there was rumors that they would consider going after Kepler from the Minnesota Twins. Don't talk to me about the numbers. I don't want to. I like to sit down, watch the game, drink a beer. I don't like to sit there on the computer checking on sabean pages, obsessed with the numbers. I'll sit there and waste my time watching the game. I'll tell you what the fucking guy did. We all watching the same game. The same thing for the people that defend Aaron Hicks. Aaron Hicks washed. He's washed and he clocked out a long time ago. I feel bad for him because, sometimes he seems like he just really wants to get it. But at the same time, don't sit there talking about you're trying to do a 30-30 season and you fucking giving up on plays. Your arm is shot. Your bat is dead. You don't run what the fuck are we doing here? I'd rather play Florial, one of the babies. I'd rather watch them struggle than watch fucking Aaron Hicks. Another person in there, Josh Donaldson. A fucking Mr. Edge, right? Brian Cashman said he was going to bring an edge to this team. He's the edge that this clubhouse needs. He fucked up the vibe numerous times in that clubhouse. The bullshit with Tim Anderson from the Chicago White Sox, calling him Jackie. If the clubhouse really, really liked Josh Donaldson, Aaron Judge would have responded differently when it was time. When they asked Aaron Judge about that situation, he didn't defend Josh Donaldson. And he didn't I'd rather not speak about that. He fucking threw Josh Donaldson under the bus. We don't do that shit out here. Nobody was fucking with Josh Donaldson. I know there's a picture going around of Glaber and Josh Donaldson hugging. That don't mean shit. That don't mean shit. There's been rumors that Cashman's trying to get rid of Aaron Hicks and Josh Donaldson. So, of course, in some talks, they're going to say, sure, we're comfortable with going in to the season with these guys. Because they don't want to sit there. No, he's fucking trash. We're trying to get rid of him. What's up? 2-for-1 deal. They're not going to do that. They're going to amp them up to keep the trade value somewhat decent. Because I don't know who's going to want to take on Josh Donaldson's contract unless we're throwing in some good prospect. At this point, I would do it. And I know a lot of Yankee fans would too. The best thing Josh Donaldson has going for him is his defense. He still has a good glove. And poor IKF, who was thrown in the fucking fire, has to suffer along with him. Because if you would have told me IKF was going to play third base from the get, no Josh Donaldson, just IKF at third, cool. I think fans would have accepted that because IKF won a Gold Glove at third in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. I know, I think I heard originally he was a shortstop and he played catch, all of this shit. What the fuck ever. He's decent at third base. There was a few games where he played third and he looked smooth. He even looked comfortable at the plate. For a team that's preaching about defense and getting younger and faster, Brian Cashman, one of his worst moves was bringing in Josh Donaldson. And they're paying him like 20 million change a year. That's fucking wild. There's no way you're going to be able to trade him right now unless you're attaching not a top, but at least a decent prospect. If you're expecting the other team to take on that money. And I think it was Jack Kirby saying it, like, nobody's interested in taking that money. And nobody's interested in helping the Yankees out. Nobody likes the Yankees. Other fan bases hate the Yankee fans. We're always the target, the Yankee bias, right? Like, nobody wants to help us. So, I think Hal Steinbrenner has kind of been taking note, especially since we were eliminated from the playoffs by the Houston Astros, who swept them. It seems like they cannot get over the hump of beating the Houston Astros. And we're actually we're getting worse. Because we took a cheating Astros team one game away from the World Series. And they have gotten worse. So I feel like Hal Steinbrenner's finally paying us. He's taking notice now. They brought in two great baseball minds. A former GM of the New York Mets, Omar Minaya, And Brian Sabean, I don't know if I can never pronounce that word right. Brian Sabean used to be in the Yankees organization back in the day. 1985, 1986, something like that. And there's a lot of debate of who brought them on board. Was it Cashman or Hal? It doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter. The point is that they're actually bringing in two great baseball minds like that to help Brian Cashman out. In my opinion, I think that's a sign that there's going to be moves to come. Brian Sabean was one of the main culprits of scouting Jeter and help develop that core of the dynasty Yankees, right? Like in the 90s. So if you have Brian Cashman's a smart guy. He belongs in a fucking low payroll team, a low market team, doing his little ninja cash moves, making these little steals that he loves to do. He doesn't like the big flashy moves. He likes smart moves, right? Cool, okay, I get it. Hopefully with these two new additions, that they're bringing more of a feel to the game, more of the human aspect, right? Hopefully they help him make some big decisions. Will he get rid of a Dominguez for a Brian Reynolds or Peraza or one of these top prospects? One of them got to go. And last I heard, Spencer Jones, that tall ass fucking lefty, he's like a lefty version of Aaron Judge in the minors from Vanderbilt, just passed Jason Dominguez on the ranks. Maybe they're kind of like, you know what? Maybe we could move Jason Dominguez. We have Spencer Jones knocking on the door right now. They got to go for it now. It's time, yo. The window's closing. We're depending on a new wave of baby bombers. When we were just literally obsessing over the baby bombers, and the only one that's left, like a real baby bomber, is Aaron Judge. The Yankees hold on to prospects way too fucking long. Look at Clint Frazier, Miguel Andujar, Greg Bird. I know it's a lot of bullshit injuries, but what about Glaber? I know he wasn't originally part of our minor league system, but they still developed him somewhat. And he hasn't really been the Glaber that we kind of wanted him to be. And even in the past, we've seen minor leaguers that were supposed to fucking come up and be like the next right? Like the next big thing. And it doesn't work out. It doesn't happen. It's like the Yankees they can develop these great bullpen arms and whatnot, but somehow these position players don't pan out the way we think they would. So I feel like they need to, Brian Cashman needs to finally give up one of these guys. Go for it. If you really go for it, it's going to hurt both sides. Jason Dominguez, we don't know where he's going to be. He can get called up to the majors and become the next Mantle or whatever the fuck they say, or Mike Trout. We don't know that shit. But we do know Brian Reynolds is a solid ass player. And he would help this team out right now for the 2023 season. So I'm happy with Hal. And I'm happy the media was stuck on him. Because hopefully Brian Cashman's little fucking ego got hurt. It bruised his little ego, making him plan something big. And I hope these new dudes, Omar and Brian, I hope they help Cashman out and kind of tug on him, make him trade one of these minor leaguers. We can't keep depending on them, and then when they're not developing them correctly. I don't know what the fuck it is. I'm no brainiac in the baseball world, but I just watch the games. I'm a fan. Something's not right. Something's not right. It's almost like the Yankees overhype their prospects. Because word comes out of a certain prospect and it's like, opposing scouts or whatever the fuck are not too high on so-and-so. So it's either we're too high on our prospects or just get rid of them when they have their highest value. If they really want to go for it. So so far, that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting to see if they bring in an outfielder. And I don't think they're done. With all this activity that's happening in the Yankees brass, I don't think they're done. Everybody's talking, House said they're not done. Cashman said they're not done. Kay says something big is going to come. I believe that shit. I believe Hal this time. He's been proving it so far. He brought back Judge. He brought in Carlos Rodon. I think another move is coming. And I think they're really set on Brian Reynolds. And we can sit here and talk about some other big moves, some other rumors. I don't want to get into that. But they are definitely working on something big. Hold on tight, Yankee fans. Reform the line. Don't fold just yet. Next time I come back on, hopefully something's done. And we'll be able to discuss that. So, till next time, this is Don Sicario, Roberto Ruiz. Check me out on Twitter at Don Sicario1. And hopefully something exciting happens. So, hold it down.